Yeah, without question. All right, let's take some video breakdown, film analysis, and some things that stood out relative to the Browns game. First and foremost, return to the gap scheme. Take us through what you saw and what you mean by that.
Well, here you're gonna see a big power double team here by Teller and JT Levinson. Then you get posted. I mean, you get the tight end blocking out, and then you get Petonio, who's going to get to the number one linebacker. That's what sets up this 46-yard run. And we know as you go back to it, you're going to see big double team. It kind of does what Teller does best. Teller and Levinson are just going to kill this three technique outside of Teller. The tight end is going to block out, which is going to allow Fannin. Now Fannon's got to do a little better job of getting to the force guy. But Petonio does a great job on a skip pull getting to that number one linebacker in the box. So they're going to double team to the number two linebacker. They're going to, Petonio's going to pull for the number one linebacker, and you get that great seam. A really nice job by Teller and Levinson. Nice job by Levinson getting off. As bad as he's been in pass protection, this was a really good run block. So Browns did a really nice job here. They went back to their gap scheme. So both touchdowns were the same counter look. This touchdown was a power look. They had some pin and pulls for some success, stuff they haven't been running. I think Kevin Stefanski put his foot down and said, we're going to run this stuff, even though Tommy Rees is more just a duo zone guy. Really impressive, got up the ball, gap scheme, bad weather forced the run, like what I saw here on this power touchdown.
The other thing we could say is the offensive line wasn't great by any shakes, but it was a little bit better than it has been, which, they got to get better play out of their offensive line.
Well, I'll tell you this. The one thing that I saw, and that's a really good description, they weren't great. But what they did was they got a hat on a hat. And what I mean by that is if you stop the film, we always used to do this as coaches, and they still do it now, is everybody covered up. Sometimes you get beat. The worst is when you have free runners and guys who aren't blocked. Sometimes you get beaten, and these guys have gotten beaten a lot right now, but they did a really nice job of getting a hat on a hat. Now they got to be more physical with it, especially the tackles.
All right. Second of our 3 points on the takeaways from the win, simulated pressures. Take us through what you mean by that and what you saw against the Dolphins. This is defensively simulating pressure.
Well, he's a guy who, Schwartz is a guy who likes to bring four. So you're going to see Delpit's there, Jenkins is up top. It looks like Jenkins is going to cut with the defense end, Alex Wright. So it looks like almost a six-man pressure. It looks like Delpit might be coming right there, and then it looks like Jenkins might be coming right inside of him. But the guys up top, both of those guys are going to drop. And then the defensive line, you're going to see that whole defensive line all work to their left, and you're going to see Delpit come here from the bottom of the screen. So what a simulated pressure does is it makes you look like they're bringing 5 or 6, but at the end, they only bring 4. And when you only bring 4, you get the cover with 7. Jim Schwartz is a guy who likes to have those 4 down linemen play, and their responsibility is to control the line of scrimmage. But they've struggled a little bit, and you got to give these coaches credit. When you struggle, they didn't do the same thing. And Delpit came off the edge a bunch. This is Jenkins coming off the edge. They did a really nice job of adjusting, making plays when they need to. Delpit with the tackle there. Jenkins, the play before, Jenkins made the play. Just really nice job of simulating pressure and getting Delpit and Jenkins involved, a couple playmakers that played well in the backfield on Sunday.
So relative to, simulated pressures, those are the quote-unquote exotic looks that you talk about. And the other thing that's going to be important, Drake May is playing really well, but he's still a younger quarterback, second year.
Well, yeah, and you're going to see a lot. That they haven't shown a lot of that, and it's not a super complex thing, especially when you have veterans like Delpit and Jenkins. They understand what they're supposed to do, and Hickman as well did a nice job playing that one high hat. And I think Delpit's a guy down in the box. You and I have talked about it for years that it can be beneficial and make impact plays down there. And sometimes, when you move Miles around and you go from a 4 front to an odd front, you cover the center, you don't cover the center. It creates a lot of looks, and it makes it makes that offensive line have to do different things, and that's really hard for an offensive line to pick all that up.
All right, you mentioned moving Myles Garrett around. That's the third point of the 3 takeaways from this Dolphins win.
Well, you're going to see Myles right here. He's going to line up at center. It's not all about always getting pressure or him winning. It's about creating one-on-one matchups for his other guys, and it's about So here he is at the 5 technique, and they got 5 guys covering, right? So if you have 5 guys covering, that gets Malik Collins in a one-on-one, and he wins. So by moving Miles around, you cause great stress and conflict on the offensive line because they're trying to figure out ways to double him. And when you move him around, it becomes a little bit harder to double him, especially when he's down inside. And once again, sometimes he won't get pressure, but this defensive line is good enough. So the play before, you saw simulated pressure. Now you're seeing an odd front with Miles down inside. Just a bunch of different things. If you standing up at a linebacker, this is going to make them very, very difficult to block. And the guys in the secondary did a nice job as well. Obviously, Campbell's been a great pickup. They can play man coverage if they need to. So yes, I agree. The Patriots are playing very well, and Vrabel's a very good coach. But so are the Browns coaches, and Browns have good players too. And the Patriots got to block these guys, and this is not going to be easy when they're moving Miles around and simulating pressure, and then also bringing 5- and 6-man pressures.
Do you expect both of those to continue, the simulated pressures and moving Miles around, given the success? And it sounded like Miles was all on board and wanted that even sooner relative to his post-game comments.
Absolutely. So you can be in that 4-man front. You can play 7 deep and get wide 3, wide 9s, wide 5s, that is. Then you can simulate pressure. Show 5 or 6, bring 4. You can bring 5 or 6. Show 5 or 6 and bring 5 or 6. You can run a 4 front, an odd front. They have veterans up there that can really move around. Mason Graham did a really nice job on a number of twists. And Mason Graham is a guy, a veteran who played under Jim Harbaugh, so he understands NFL fronts. And how to move and what offensive lines are trying to do. So, yeah, as much as they want to be base and Jim Schwartz wants to be base, he's not a guy who is afraid to say, you know what, we need to make some improvements. Our offense is not it's not about being upset because the offense is, what else can we do to help the offense? We're good, but we need to be even better. What can we do? That's what football coaches do. They don't blame each other. They kind of go, you know what can we do to help? And this is what Jim Schwartz did. He's like, you know what, we're going to try to create some more pressure. Change it up a little bit, see if we can create some turnovers, which is what they did. So credit to him, credit to Stefanski. They made some changes. They went back to the gap scheme, some sim pressures. You got to give the coaches credit as much as you give them criticism. I'll be the first one to criticize. So the praise is there. They had a good game plan, and I don't care who they beat. They won. It's NFL. There's good players everywhere.
Yeah, +4 turnover ratio, which you're going to win. As Kevin Stefanski, we heard him say earlier in the show, you're going to win almost every game. You're +4 in the turnover margin.